My name is Jake, welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're gonna do a Review My Pie video where I review subscriber portfolios. Wow, does that sound really weird? I haven't recorded a YouTube video in about 5 or so weeks. My wife and I, we moved from Austin, Texas up to Utah, and I recorded a bunch of videos in advance. And so this is the first time recording in quite a while, and it's weird to hear my voice in an empty room, looking at a screen. I'm really excited about today's video. There's a couple of things that I'm going to announce and share with all of you. I'm so excited about this new chapter. If you saw that last video, my wife and I, we're now going down the path of barista fire, right? Where we're going to be living off of our dividend portfolio, but also still working on the side, still generating some form of income so that we can supplement the gap from our expenses and what our dividend portfolio is providing. So by no means are we in fat fire, right? Yeah, I have a $766,000 portfolio, but this portfolio doesn't generate enough income for us to be able to live. But yeah, I am so excited about where we're at today. Generally, the Review My Pie videos, I generally see more and more returning subscribers watch these type of videos than my other videos on my channel. So here on YouTube, these last 4 years, I've really tried to build up a community of like-minded dividend investors. And I try to be as authentic as I can because that's really, really important to me. I'm not a flashy person. And so I've really tried to build a community of like-minded, positive dividend investors. And I hope that you enjoy the channel. And I'm really excited to keep making YouTube videos. And this is the 50th video of this series here of the Review My Pie, and it's just kind of crazy to me to think about it that way. So in today's Review My Pie, we're going to answer a subscriber question. This person is actually asking in regards to a 73-year-old, I believe their parent, and we're going to take a look at 3 portfolios. The first is going to be from a 40-year-old here in the US, the second a 27-year-old from Scotland, and then the third a 25-year-old from the US. And if you're not sure where Scotland is, it's this beautiful country here in the UK. I've never been to Scotland, but I plan on visiting soon. And I hear they got some the Loch Ness Monster up there, so maybe I'll go exploring. But yeah, beautiful country. I plan to visit in the future. As always, everybody, the timestamps will be in the description below, as well as the portfolio links will be in the description below. So that's what we're going to cover in today's video. I am so excited, so glad that we made the trip up here and that the road trip is over. If you've ever traveled with a little kid or a toddler, it can be a little bit stressful at times. There was times where you're like 12 hours into the drive and he just won't stop crying or screaming no matter what you do. And no matter how many Chiggy Nuggies you get him, he just still starts screaming. I was kind of like this for half of the drive where I'm just like, I'm there, but I'm not really there. You can just hear the screams in the background, but you're just like, okay, in your own little world. And because, if you've ever traveled with kids, they can be unpredictable and do random things. And it kind of looks a little like this.
Max, let's see it.
All right, I'm recording. Oh!
Oh my gosh. Oh man, I love it. All right, cool. So this is the thing that I wanted to announce. I am so excited about this because I've been wanting to do this for years and years, but I've just never had the time to do it. I want to create a tight-knit community. I want to create a community where, like-minded investors want to come together and help each other. And there's a ton of groups out there. There's Facebook groups, there's Discord groups. I'm not really on Facebook and I don't really use Discord. And there's tons of them already. Like they already exist. Why do we need another one? But what I noticed that there really isn't any is there's no dividend focused WhatsApp groups or communities. And WhatsApp has a new feature where you can create a community. And that's what I've done is I've created a community here on WhatsApp where I can interact with all of you. And the difference here is that it's more one-on-one and instant communication, whereas with Discord, you kind of post things and, people kind of interact with it. But with WhatsApp groups, it's more about that, instant communication. So if you message me, I'm going to see it immediately. And if I'm not doing something else, I'm going to be able to respond then and there. And I considered other options like Patreon or YouTube memberships, but for me, they just weren't really personal enough, and I really wanted to go a different direction. And I feel like this will give the opportunity to really get to know you on a personal level, and it's a great way to support me and really in this effort here on YouTube, because the community here will be a paid service, so you will have to pay to be able to join the community. And like I said, I'm trying to provide a lot of value, put a lot of effort into it, but it is also a way to support me in the channel. So in this community, there's a couple of things. So if you click on the link below, this is the DJI to Fi WhatsApp or community group and that I created. If you click on it on a computer or a PC, this is what you're going to see. If you click on it with your phone, or you click on the link with your phone, this screen is going to come up. And what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to sign up with your WhatsApp number. And before you do that, you can take a look and you can kind of see some of the details. My goal here, there's a couple of things that I want to focus on here. One, the main overarching focus is going to be on the WhatsApp groups where we can interact on different topics in real time. But also what I want to do is I want to have virtual meetups. And so I'm going to try to do it on a regular basis where I'm going to have a virtual meetup with all of you. And these meetups will be recorded. So if you're not able to join, you can watch the recording. But the goal, and also I'm going to be posting more kind of live updates about myself, my wife, what's going on with us. So for example, and I'm going to be posting pictures of my wife and I, Lucas, what we're up to. All of the virtual meetups will be, with camera on, obviously. And so it's going to be a lot more personal, and you'll be able to get to know me, and I'll be able to get to know you. And then, this is how I have it set up today. This will probably evolve over time, but there's something that's called a WhatsApp community, and within the community you can have multiple groups and topics. And so, for example, you'll get invited to the DJI to Fi community, where you get access to all of these groups, and whichever topics are relevant to you, you can discuss with me directly and with others in the community, and hopefully learn something, but also as well share your knowledge with others in the community. So that's really what it's about. It's not just about me responding to every comment, but rather helping each other learn about, what's important to you, because there's so many specific things. Like most of the questions that I get via email, like they're just a couple of sentences and it's hard for me to respond. But with this, it's a lot more live. And that's why I thought this would probably add a lot more value to those of you that want to really engage in specific topics versus just reading, blog posts or Discord, posts. So this is the DJI to Fi community. I'm really, really excited about it. I've thought a lot about this for the last couple of months and years, actually, how I would like to build a community. And I'd hope that you would consider joining. All right, let's take a look at the first question here. This is from Chris. He writes, "Hi, Jake. I've been really enjoying your channel, and I was wondering if you could help me figure out how to preserve my mother's nest egg." Now, this is a really important question. I hope that you're also looking for other help, maybe from a CFA or, really doing your research, because this is your mother's nest egg. So you want to make sure that you're getting the right information for her. So several years ago, my mother, 73 years old, suffered from a stroke and now lives in assisted living in a memory care facility. My father passed away in 2014 from cancer, and unfortunately, he left her with a nice sum of money from being frugal his entire life. The monthly rent is $7,200 and usually goes up a few percent annually. She receives around $2,000 per month in Social Security and has an annuity worth approximately $750,000. She also owns a home that I still need to sell worth around $150,000 to $200,000 and around $60,000 in other various accounts. I became her legal guardian, so I have her financial duties, and I'm also an only child. This year, she has a required minimum distribution of $29,000. I have a guardianship account open in her name with Charles Schwab, which is where I put last year's RMD. I'm trying to figure out the best case scenario for preserving what she has as long as possible. I don't know if I should leave just the annuity alone and then invest the RMD every year, or another possibility under her circumstances. I believe I can terminate the annuity and then invest the money in something else. Watching your videos has me wondering if if it would be best to invest in a JEPI or JEPQ, it seems to me that the share price doesn't fluctuate a whole lot, which is good, and my mother could benefit from the nice dividend income, possibly paying for her living expenses. Thank you, and I appreciate any advice you might have, and I know that it's strictly just your opinion. Many thanks, Chris from Wisconsin. Well, Chris, thank you for sending over the question, and I mean, this is really important. You don't want to get this wrong. You know, when you're thinking about this, the goal here in this stage of your mother's life is wealth preservation while still maintaining the opportunity for accumulation. So you don't want to go all in either direction, whether growth, value, or anything in between. The key thing here, if you were to talk to a financial advisor, what they're going to talk to you about is they're going to ask you about your risk tolerance, your time horizon, and all of those things. And what they're going to recommend is based off of your goals and your risk tolerance, they're going to put together a plan that's going to help reach your goal based off of what you tell them. And it's really going to be focused on risk management. So the best thing that I can recommend here is to diversify. Diversify in a healthy way where you're not going all in on a single stock. You're not going all in on a single ETF, but you're broadly diversifying. I do like fixed income, especially right now, you know, where you have, so 10 years ago, where interest rates were at 0, or 2 years ago, fixed income was useless. But now you can put money in a savings account and get 5%. So in my opinion, I would heavily consider fixed income for right now, while also looking at options like JEPI or JEPQ. Those are great ways to get higher distributions. But what I would do is I would probably put the majority, or at least I put half, probably in very conservative short-term fixed income, something like that. Maybe a quarter into covered call ETFs like JEPI and JEPQ. Maybe another quarter, 25%, into more of a growth asset like SEHD, DGRO, or even the S&P 500, and diversify it that way. Because she's 73 years old, it's very possible she lives another 20 years, right? So you want to make sure that you're balancing it so you're still getting capital appreciation, but you're not taking on too much risk. And the last thing I guess I could say here is, maybe ease into the market. Don't buy in all at once, right? The market kind of tends to go up and down, as we've all probably noticed. You probably want to diversify and slowly dollar cost average into whatever you're doing. So Chris, I hope that helps. This is really a loaded question. It really comes down to many different factors, but the key thing here that I would emphasize is on risk management. How do you get a conservative growth from your investments? And that's what I would focus on. All right, the first portfolio is from Ghant. He writes, "Hi Jake, my name is Ghant. I'm 40 years old. I'm planning to build a portfolio to retire at 55. I have my 401k 10% contribution with my company, and they match me with 10%. That's amazing. I'm starting my Roth IRA this summer, and I will have my VTI, VEA, VUG, VNQ in there for now. I'm planning to fund my M1 Finance taxable account with $2,000 a month, trying to achieve a combination of dividend and growth through ETFs only. I have an account with another brokerage that I'm investing into individual companies there for growth purposes, but with little bit of money only. Kindly review my M1 account." Okay, perfect. Okay, so again, this is awesome, man. I think I like that you have different accounts with different targets, different goals, right? You got your Roth, your 401k has a specific goal, your M1 portfolio specific goal, and you have a growth portfolio with a specific goal. I really like that. All right, let's take a look at your portfolio. Over the last 5 years, you're up a good healthy amount. You have a low expense ratio considering you're all in ETFs. You have a good dividend yield. The dividend yield is actually pretty low. If you're not planning on selling your ETFs, you could actually probably even get a higher dividend yield. You could even get up to 2.5, 3 to 3.5%, and still have a healthy dividend yield with growth. Because you're trying to balance that ratio between the dividend growth and the current dividend yield, and how those are going to combine and work together to meet your timeline. So that's something that you may want to consider. But let's take a look and see what you got in here. You got VYM, VOO at 20, you got SEHD, GGRO. Okay, I like this. I mean, This, you can't go wrong with this, in my opinion, right? Like whether it's 20%, 15%, 5%. I like that they're equally weighted. I think that's great. You got some lower percentages here, and you got VONG, SPYG. So you got some growth here. In 15 years, you're probably going to want to rebalance. You're probably going to sell these and then buy into maybe a SCHD or a VYM, for example, to get your higher yield, right? So you can definitely do that. The thing that I like about this is, this follows the core and satellite approach, but with ETFs, right? You got your core here, and then you have your satellite positions here that you can then repurpose and you're flexible with, right? Say in 15 years, you want to buy a new car, you want to buy a new house, you want to go on an expensive vacation, whatever it may be, you'll have flexibility. You can sell these instead of selling out of your holdings here, right? Or you could repurpose them and buy real estate, rental property. You could buy higher yielding dividend stocks. It doesn't matter. The list is unlimited. The important thing here that I like is that it's focused around a core strategy, but it gives you options in the future. Okay. Now, the key thing with this portfolio is this is not a portfolio that you dabble with and play with on a regular basis. This is a portfolio that you review on an annual basis. You don't touch this every month, every week. You don't change this from 20% to 18%. This is a set it and forget it. I think this will fit and match your goal very well. And it sounds like you've thought a lot about this. But once again, it really comes down to your strategy. Are you planning to buy into the growth and then rebalance later? Or are you planning to buy and hold and never sell? Because that's very, very important. If you want to buy and hold and reinvest the dividends and never sell, you could probably even increase the dividend yield. You could increase the positions in these even more. So there's no right or wrong answer. Okay, it just depends on what your goal is with this portfolio and how it's going to help you get to that goal. Here, really quick, before we go into the second portfolio, I want to share this before I forget. This is a special promotion that Seeking Alpha is offering just for my channel. They're no longer discounting, but they're going to give a coupon code for special promotions. And this is a special promotion that they have going on where you're going to get Seeking Alpha Premium and Alpha Picks. And so Alpha Picks is an entirely different product that they offer, but if you use my link, you'll be able to get both together. If that's something that you're interested in, you can use my link. I benefit from it. It's an affiliate link, but I really appreciate it, but no pressure. All right, the next portfolio is from Sean, and Sean wrote me a novel here, a novel of an email. So I'm going to try to read this here quickly so that we can go and take a look at his portfolio. But Sean writes, "Hi Jake, I've just watched your last Review My Pie episode and loved it as always. I'm desperate to be featured on your channel." Well, that's cool, man. So I'm 27 years old, living in Glasgow, Scotland. I started investing 2 years ago and discovered your YouTube channel about a year ago. I find the content very interesting and has inspired me to target FIRE more proactively. I'd love if you could have a read of my current plan and let me know what you think. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. I'm currently able to save around £500 a month from my salary and have been very lucky to have my parents help me to get a property ladder around 5 years ago. So I'm paying off my mortgage each month, which I like to think of as a different type of savings. My time horizon is broadly 20 years, but I'm open to adding a few years if necessary. In the UK, we have an individual savings account, which are tax exempt, and you're able to deposit up to 20K per year in these. This is where I allocate almost 100% of my investments. They don't allow crypto. Also, you will see that from my attached spreadsheet, I don't actually have any dividend ETFs in my portfolio. This is because many of the best dividend growth ETFs I have discovered, SHD for example, are not available in the UK. Some alternatives are Vanguard, All World High Dividend Yield, Invesco High Dividend. Okay. Would you recommend any of these, as I would like my ISA to ideally take on more of a dividend feel? Yeah. So I think, the important thing is that you look at the methodology of the ETF, you look at the expense ratio of the ETF, and I think you're going to be fine, right? Not every ETF is available in every country. I like the Wisdom Tree ETFs. I like Invesco. I like Vanguard. I don't think you can go wrong with those. It's just important that you do your due diligence around the expense ratio and the goal of the fund, like the methodology of it. Okay. The spreadsheet I have attached is taken from the closest thing I have to to a baby, my investment summary spreadsheet, and I'm hoping it should be relatively intuitive. I have my investments split into 6 categories, but there are 2 which can instantly filter out as they're not relevant to your channel. Cash. I also have a small allocation into British stocks, but won't be very relevant to most reviewers, but I will be interested about something. Okay. There are 2 categories which I would be most interested on your tank on. Please just filter out the 4. I have ETFs. Okay. I work for a life insurance company which has a decent contribution match scheme for my pension. I pay in 3% of my salary each month, and my employer pays 10%. We're not able to easily change what this is invested in, but from what I can tell, it's just very broad world index. I like to forget about this and have it working away in the background. Many thanks in advance, Sean. Well, Sean, this is awesome, man. I think, when you mention or longer, 20 years or longer, it's very possible. If you're investing in real estate, you're starting young and you're doing all of this, it's possible that you get there sooner. Okay. And it's important that you understand, and I talked about this in my last videos, why are you pursuing FIRE? What's your why? And if you're pursuing fat FIRE, well, then yeah, maybe it's 20 or 30 years. If you're pursuing just financial independence, and then maybe you quit and work part-time, well, that could look entirely different, right? So it's really depends on what's important to you, what you're looking for. All right, Sean, let's take a look at your portfolio and let's see what you got in here. So some of this is going to be relevant, some of it's not, like when it comes to the crypto. But what crypto can do is it can act as a satellite position if you follow the core and satellite approach to investing, okay? So you have your core and then you have your satellite positions. The reason why I like the core and the satellite is you're not going to make it to the moon, right? You're not going to fly to the moon with your returns, but you're also not going to sleep under a bridge with the core and satellite approach. It helps you diversify. It helps you to focus on what's important to you. And it helps you to manage your portfolio based off of your risk tolerance. That's why I love it so much. That's why I advocate it for everyone, is because it helps you to create and construct a portfolio that matches you and what you're trying to do. So I guess let's take a look at it. So your top target holding here, so this is what's important, is you're focusing heavily on the Vanguard S&P 500 and the Vanguard Developed European market ETF there. Okay, so the important thing you have to understand with the S&P 500 is it's very difficult to retire just off of the dividend of the S&P 500. Generally, that's going to be difficult. You're going to need a lot of money in order for that to work. What most people will generally do is they'll invest in the S&P 500, and then once they look to quit their job and retire, then they'll generally repurpose they'll sell out of the S&P 500 and buy other things like higher yielding dividend ETFs or stocks or real estate or whatever it may be. So that's just important to understand that you have a goal behind what are you going to do with the S&P 500. Okay. I think it's a very viable strategy. Okay. And it's really great for focusing on total returns, but it's important to have a plan of why you're doing that. So then you have in here other investments, like you got Amazon, Tesla. So these are part of your growth portfolio. I'm sure you got Meta, you got Starbucks, Costco, Ethereum, Coinbase, MasterCard, NVIDIA. I mean, this portfolio this year has probably skyrocketed. This portfolio here is probably up like 50% or 40% this year. You have some really good names in here. You got Church and Dwight, Ecolab, Pepsi, Target, Pfizer, some really blue chip, dividend growth stocks. You have some more growth in here. This is really low, but I'm assuming this represents your total, the money that your dollar cost averaging, right? So this is a percentage of what you're investing. So a very small amount. Best thing that I can say when it comes to this type of strategy, here in the US, you can have multiple brokerages. I don't know how it is in the UK, but I would recommend considering having different brokerages for your different strategies. So if you have a growth strategy, then put all of your growth stocks, your Ethereum, your crypto in one account, and have your dividend growth stocks in another account. And then if you have your S&P 500 in a different account, which was fine because each account has its own goal. And then what it does is it helps you to kind of have a holistic approach and view over what you're doing. And otherwise it can get a little bit, like I'll give you a stupid example. You know how I view this? I'm looking at my computer over there on the side of my desk, and there's cables everywhere. In German, you would call this Kabelsalat, cable salad. It's just where all the cables are everywhere, but they're all going into the same computer. And it's kind of, when I look at it, I'm just like, I get lost in all the cables. If you can separate things and have each account designated to a specific goal, I think it will help you to execute on what you're trying to do and not be emotional and change things up. Okay, so that goes for you in the UK, or if you're in the US with a similar strategy. That's what I've found to be the best approach to this. I like the companies that you have in here. I think whether you invest into, Costco or Target or Walmart, like really, it's not going to make a major difference, right? Because it's only 1.5% of your overall portfolio. What's going to move the needle and impact things is your core. Right? When you have 40% into one ETF, that's what moves the needle, right? That's the important thing that you want to make sure that you're getting right. But all in all, I do like that you're diversifying, that you're spreading out your risk. And this is kind of like fun, right? This is your fun money, right? Like this, you're not going to go to the moon on this. You're not going to become an overnight millionaire, right? But you're interested in it. This is exciting for you. Otherwise, you wouldn't do it. You believe in this. And so that's fine. Go ahead and do it. But like I said, if you can coordinate it with those different accounts, I think it will help you and everyone watching a whole lot. Sean, thank you so much for sending over your portfolio. Shout out to Scotland and shout out to Nessie for me. All right, let's take a look at the last portfolio. It's from Jake. Hi, Jake. I love your channel and been watching your videos for quite some time. I've accumulated a lot of knowledge about dividend investing, and your videos played a huge role in that. Thanks. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you saying that. My name is Jake, too, and I also live in Texas. Oh, okay. Just a few hours north from Fort Worth. I'm 25 years old and currently working at an apartment maintenance supervisor, making just over $60K a year. My wife brings in about the same income as me, making $60K a year at her job. We have absolutely zero debt and invest on average $4,500 a month together in our brokerage. Dude, that is amazing. Amazing. My wife and I want to retire and live off our dividends in about 20 to 25 years. We invest with Schwab currently, so I attached a screenshot of my holdings and my Seeking Alpha account along with the allocation percentages in my notes. Please let me know what you think based on our time horizon and goals and what improvements or changes that could benefit us. This is all in our taxable brokerage. Thank you. Well, Jake, this is amazing, man. You're 25 years old. You're depositing in your brokerage $4,500 a month. Most 25-year-olds, if you're an average 25-year-old in America, you have over $70,000 in debt and you pay $700 a month on each car. You don't have any of that. You're different. You are going to reach your goal in no time. 20 to 25 years, I think, unless you're aiming for fat fire, I think you might be able to cut that in half. What you may want to consider, you don't talk about if you rent or if you own, but I think you sound like ambitious people. You're a apartment maintenance supervisor, so you understand real estate, okay? Have you considered investing into real estate? There's a lot of ways that you can do it. The best advice that I can give anyone at 25 years old living up in Fort Worth is buy a house or get a house if you're able. And it sounds like you probably are because you have no debt and you're investing a ton of money. Consider investing into a primary residence, live in it for 2 years, and then after 2 years, you could either rent it or you could sell it. And assuming that the market appreciates, who knows, that's a great way that you can build your wealth on the side as well through real estate. There's a ton of things that I could share with you that I could go into so much detail. This is why, like that WhatsApp group, if you were in the group, I could tell you so many different things about how my wife and I did it, how we planned for it, those speed bumps in the way to look out for. Okay, so let's take a look at your portfolio here, what you're investing in. You're investing in SCHD and DJRO. Love it. QQQM, love it. VOO, HDV, DVY, DGRW, and JEPI. Okay, so your current yield is 3.8%, estimated 10% average dividend growth based on previous increases. I nerded out a lot on this. I love that. And you have an expense ratio down there of 0.15%. Okay, so a couple of things that come to mind right away. HDV and DVY, I would question, do you even need them? Right? You get so much diversification with SCHD and DGRO. I think, there's just so much overlap. Me personally, I don't think you need it, but it's only 10%. You can keep it. This is very nitpicky. In my opinion, I don't think you need them. I would rather put them into SCHD and DGRO or into VOO. And then that gives you options in 10 years, 20 years. You could sell out of that and buy real estate, or you could do something else. Okay. I do like DGRW. I think that's a great ETF. My wife is currently dollar cost averaging in DGRW. I like it. JEPI, get out of it. Don't buy JEPI. JEPI is a covered call ETF. It doesn't fit your goals right now. Here's the thing. JEPI is capping the upside, which you don't want, because you're in wealth accumulation mode of your life. Get rid of it. And a double whammy is it's not tax efficient. You're paying extra taxes in this taxable account. It's absolutely, no, don't do it. Don't do it. What you could do is you could invest into VOO, and then in 20 years, you could sell VOO. You'll have quadruple the portfolio value, and then you could buy into JEPI, and you'll save taxes all along the way, and you'll have much more appreciation. So that's what I'd highly recommend is get out of JEPI and reconsider HDV and DVY. They're great ETFs alone, but with this portfolio, in my opinion, you don't really need them. So here's your retirement account. So I'm assuming this is in your Roth IRA. You got VOO, SHD, QQM, and JEPI. All right, so these three I like. Get rid of JEPI. Just get out of it. If you listen to anything I say, trust me on this. Get out of JEPI. Go, even in a Roth IRA, even if it's tax advantaged, get out of it. You're better off with VOO over the next 20 years. You'll thank me, I promise. But the key thing here, and I think I've said this before, is with this type of portfolio, you don't touch this on a regular basis. You set this up and you forget it. This is a portfolio that you could lose the password on your account and relog in 10 years. Okay, that's the type of portfolio. This is boring, set it and forget it. Okay, so with your Roth IRA, you don't want to be fiddling with it and playing with it. You're 25 years old. You got 30 years before you're ever going to use this money. So the best thing that you can do is set it up and forget it and automate your contributions. So Jake, I hope that helps. Thank you so much for setting up your portfolio. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope that the video was helpful. I hope that you learned something new, and I'd hope that you would consider joining the DGI to FI community. And I'll see everybody in next week's video.
Please subscribe. Please subscribe.
You know what? I think we're gonna be friends. Can everyone say hi to my friend? That's crazy. I just wanted to say thanks. I'm glad you came along, partner.